Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Earth Day. It's exciting to be here. Yay! We still have an Earth. All right. I'm Allison Morrow. I'm the MC today. I'm also the environmental reporter at King 5. I recognize a lot of your faces. I've done stories about many of the folks in the room today. And I hope to do stories on many of you in the future. As I was looking through the script, I was thinking, I think I have my year lined up. So editorial meetings will be a lot easier. So thank you all for all of your hard work. It's really an honor to be the person who gets to help in the process of presenting these awards. These are, in case you didn't know, the most prestigious awards given by King County Department of Natural Resources and Parks. I can tell you I'm not going to the Emmys this year, but I am here. So that is how special and important you are. They recognize the people, organizations, and businesses that have truly made a difference in protecting the natural resources of our unique home. And speaking of the awards, there's actually an interesting story behind them. The Green Globe Awards themselves were actually made by King County Parks with an in-house laser router that used lumber milled by Parks from storm-damaged and hazardous trees that had to be removed. The round is western red cedar, and the base is Doug firs. You can see them over there. It is a great use for this wood, and we want to thank King County Parks for their work to create such a great award. So let's give them a hand. So this year, as we celebrate the 49th anniversary of Earth Day, we can imagine what the day's founders were thinking as they made a commitment to protect our environment. And to go off script for a second, I will say one of my favorite parts of being an environmental reporter is giving people the opportunity to tell their stories to help others imagine themselves in their shoes so that other people can see themselves participating in this great work. So thank you again. As we honor the Green Globe winners today, we ask you to imagine the world if more people, organizations, and businesses took steps to protect our environment, to educate our youth, and to search for solutions to some of our most vital issues that face us today. So we're going to get started in just a moment with remarks from King County Executive Dow Constantine, and then we will present the awards along with a short description of why each winner is a leader in their respective area. So please join me in welcoming Dow Constantine.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And thank you, Allison. Welcome, everyone, to the 2019 Green Globe Awards. Special because they happen only every 24 months, among other things. I am thrilled to be here to preside once again, and I wanted to ask you, without having you dwell on it too much, how are you doing this 49th Earth Day? Well? Okay. See, we need that enthusiasm. I mean, we all must keep pushing to create the future that we want for our kids and our grandkids. And here we are in this magnificent building in view of the Salish Sea on the lands that were taken from the Duwamish people, from the Coast Salish people. We, the weight of history and our responsibility for the future of this place and this planet can weigh heavily on one. Especially when you're here and seeing this. So I want us to remember that we have to keep our spirits up, that we have to keep enthusiastic, that we have to keep optimistic, that we have to redouble our efforts if we're going to do in our brief time here what needs to be done in order that we might pass this place on better than would have been without us. It is wonderful to have Allison Morrow here as our MC this year at a time when the natural environment and science and journalism are under attack. Allison and King 5 continue their practice of quality journalism, and we want to thank them for that commitment. Their excellent work advances public understanding of the environmental issues at the heart of our identity here in the Puget Sound region. Now, before we get started, I want to mark the passing of a shining star in our sustainability community and the King County family just a week ago. I know many of you are familiar with Patty Southard. and intensely dedicated public servant and a dynamic force of nature in advancing environmental sustainability. If you knew Patty, she probably pushed you, and probably persistently, to do more, to take risks, to radically transform our approach to the built environment. Our hearts go out to Patty's entire family, and including her twin sister, Ellen, who is here with us today and is an environmental leader regionally in her own right. But knowing Patty, she would want us to celebrate today with that big broad smile and unbridled enthusiasm she always held for the work of our extraordinary Green Globe winners. I'd also like to recognize our County Council colleagues who've joined us at this celebration. I don't know if you've all gotten here yet, but I did see some of you coming in. I will list you by number and council district and name. From District 3, Councilmember Kathy Lambert. Are you here, Kathy? Yes, I can hear you over there. I know I saw from District 4, Councilmember Jean Cole Wells is here. Councilmember Dave Up the Grove from District 5 may not here yet. From District 6, Councilmember Claudia Balducci. From District 8, Councilmember Joe McDermott. And is Reagan here? Yes, and from District 9, Councilmember Reagan Dunn. So I want to make note of the fact that since there's a majority of the council in the room, you are in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, at least according to your lawyers. According to their lawyers, if there are 5 council members anywhere on the planet, they're in violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. And I want to recognize a special guest that we have in attendance. Sally Jewell served as Chief Executive Officer of REI and was one of the founders of the Mountains to Sound Greenway. She's the second woman ever to hold the position of Secretary of the Interior and the very first Secretary of the Interior to ever help me and local school kids release native kokanee salmon fry into Ebright Creek. Yes. And I think that tradition may not be continuing for the next couple of years. But we hope to resume it in the future. Sally is at the UW table because she earned a mechanical engineering degree from the University of Washington, served on the Board of Regents for more than a decade, and currently serves as an advisor to the College of the Environment's Earth Lab. But perhaps her crowning achievement is that a decade ago, she was the recipient of a King County Green Globe Award. Congratulations, Sally Jewell. Today, we're here to honor businesses, organizations, and individuals doing great things on behalf of our environment. These are the leaders, the visionaries, the doers, who are creating positive changes that keep hope alive for a brighter tomorrow. These are trying times for environmental protection, for science and research and rational thought, and for green innovation. Actions by the current administration to roll back protections for our air and water and health seem to come daily. The other Washington is doing nothing about the challenge that we face in global climate change. President Obama said it. Presidential aspirant Inslee has said it, that we are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change and the last that can do something about it. Well, environmental organizations, businesses, and individuals, along with the state, tribal, and local governments, are on the front lines of the battle for clean air and water, for salmon and orca recovery, for climate resilience. Our Green Globe winners are working every day to build a healthier world for future generations. And that is true of your King County government as well. We have many King County employees here, true stewards of these lands. We are helping to lead the way locally to respond to climate change, to protect and restore Puget Sound and its myriad fish and wildlife species, and to create resources from waste. Since the last Green Globe ceremony 2 years ago, we have embarked on a clean water, healthy habitat agenda to ensure our investments in habitat and stormwater and wastewater treatment are all made in the context of our ecosystems. And with partners who are here with us today, we launched the Land Conservation Initiative to accelerate our investments to preserve the last best 65,000 acres of open space and farmland and other important resources within a generation, a single generation. And just last week, our council voted to send our 6-year Parks and Open Space levy to the ballot, which would raise funds for parks and open space and regional trails. Many of you in this room were central to shaping that and these other initiatives, and I want to thank you for your work. We've surpassed our goals for improving energy efficiency and producing renewable energy. And later this year, we will transition nearly 100% of our electricity use in the Puget Sound Energy Service Area to clean, renewable supplies, 100%. And many of you braved cold, wet weather and muddy boots to help toward our goal of planting 1 million trees by 2020. It was part of our 2015 Strategic Climate Action Plan. Well, we have already crossed the 800,000 mark. So just take 200,000, divide it by the number of people in this room, and we're home free. Now, weaving through our sustainability initiatives is a firm commitment to equity and social justice. We must take a hard look at who is most burdened by pollution and climate impacts and how we can enhance access to our region's incredible natural assets for all residents. We can't advance equity without true partnership with leaders who know their communities, and many of the awards today recognize those leaders. I want to thank our Director of Department of Natural Resources and Parks, Christy True, and Deputy Director Bob Burns, and all the talented professionals at DNRP who get the work done on the ground in partnership with all of you. Now, in a moment, I will turn the program back to Allison, who will announce the winners of the 2019 Green Globe Awards under the theme of Imagine a World If. But before I do that, I'd like to kick things off with a special award. Will Jean Duvernoy please step forward and accept the Green Globe Award for outstanding lifetime contributions to open space conservation? Stand here. Face that way. Be embarrassed. Okay. So now I've told Gene that he has to stand on this spot and face you while we say nice things about him. Then we're going to give him the award and we'll have a chance to give him more applause and embarrass him further. So let's imagine, along the lines of today's theme, that decades of foresight, creativity, and unflinching commitment were combined in one passionate person intent on protecting our best conservation and working resource lands. A person with an understanding that our quality of life isn't just tied to wild landscapes, but also to working lands and urban green spaces and focusing growth in the right places. These qualities and more are embodied in Jean Duvernoy, President Emeritus of Forterra, a giant in the Puget Sound area land preservation and smart growth movement. Jean recently retired from Forterra, previously known as Cascade Land Conservancy, which he helped found 3 decades ago. Now, during his tenure, Forterra secured more than 275,000 acres in more than 450 land transactions across Washington State. And in King County, he helped create many of the region's largest open space and land conservation agreements. Wayne Golf Course, Snoqualmie Forest, Upper Green River Watershed, Upper Raging River Watershed, the former rail corridor that is now the East Lake Sammamish Trail, and one that I spent well over a decade on, and we got it done, the Maury Island Gravel Pit. Oh, my goodness. Gene understands the need to bridge that gap between public and private entities. He insisted on including working farms and working forests, urban green spaces, and community resiliency in Forterra's mission. And he worked to cut across traditional boundaries and ideologies. Gene's passion was sparked as manager of King County's Farmland Preservation Program in the 1980s. And he took a leave of absence to run the successful $125 million open space bond measure, and that was 1989 when I first met you. We were scrambling to save a little wooded ravine in West Seattle, and well, here we are. Thanks. It's still there. Before he returned to county employment to manage the Office of Open Space. Now, Gene, I know you are nowhere near finished building on your incredible legacy, but I want to pause here at this moment in the arc of your toils and thank you for your decades of work that will benefit the Pacific Northwest and those who come after us forever. And I will now hand the mic back to you as I go over and hand Gene the handmade Green Globe Award.
Oh, I had to hand back the secret executive's notebook.
It's got codes in it.
Okay, so first things first. Award winners, as your organizations and names are called, we want you to come up, accept your Green Globe, and get a photo with Executive Constantine, but also if your county council member could come up as well, we would appreciate it. You guys ready? Yeah. Okay. All right, the first imagine statement. Imagine a world if every individual, every group, and every organization in our watershed felt strongly that it is vitally important to do everything possible to save our priceless heritage of natural resources so we can proudly hand them to future generations protected and intact, and that all salmon, including threatened native Lake Sammamish kokanee salmon, can thrive in their natural environment, a living, breathing link to ancient times. Leader in salmon recovery, Bellevue Issaquah chapter of Trout Unlimited. Yay! The Bellevue Issaquah Trout Unlimited is founding and leading member of the Lake Sammamish kokanee work group that is dedicated to stop the decline of the unique Lake Sammamish kokanee salmon. Their work spans the technical, political, and financial aspects of this ongoing restoration effort, from conducting feasibility studies for restoring spawning creeks to raising funding for their own staff position, as well as operating the fry traps and making annual spawner surveys. The group has steadfastly worked to give Lake Sammamish's little red fish a fighting chance at recovery. So congratulations to the Bellevue Issaquah chapter of Trout Unlimited. And then you guys, I think, go over there. That's what important people do. Okay, the next award. Imagine a world if all the water was clean enough for salmon to thrive, orcas to live long lives, and all humans were safe from pollution. A place where children can swim without fear of toxins in water that is so clean and clear it's the color of turquoise ice. Leader in water quality solutions, Salmon Safe, and Clean Lake Union. Congratulations, Ira. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Clean Lake Union and Salmon Safe partnered with Mark Gray, of Stephen Gray and Associates on a project to treat the 2 million gallons of polluted stormwater runoff flowing annually from the Aurora Bridge into the Lake Washington Ship Canal, where it impacts the health of migrating salmon and other aquatic species before flowing through the Ballard Locks into Puget Sound. The team designed and built rain gardens and bioswales on nearby land with funding from Boeing, technical and design services by KPFF and Weber Thompson, and outreach support from the Nature Conservancy of Washington. Clean Lake Union and Salmon Safe, thank you so much for your commitment. Congratulations. Yay. Okay. Imagine a world if the norm was a culture of conservation, a world where diverse communities of volunteers come together to preserve and enhance natural areas for the benefit of birds, other wildlife, and people. Leader in Community Stewardship, Eastside Audubon Society. Congratulations. And I just have to give a shout out to all the bird people because they are some of the most passionate people who ever engage in my stories. Give it up for bird people. All right. Eastside Audubon has been active at King County's Maramore Park in Redmond for nearly 40 years, first conducting a bird survey of the park, then building a species checklist for the area. For more than 13 years, Eastside Audubon has been the steward of the Bird Loop Trail and adjacent natural areas in the park. They continue their dedicated work to this day, counting 234 volunteers at habitat restoration events last year, which also happens to be the exact number of bird species counted in the park. That's hard to do. I told you, bird people, they're always they're together. So join me in congratulating Eastside Audubon Society. Nice job, guys. Congratulations. Imagine a world if everyone practiced compassion and actions toward protecting people, no matter the color of their skin or income level, where those voices that have been silent are encouraged to speak up and to make the decisions directly impacting them, elevating their potential and designing their own futures. Leader in environmental advocacy, Paulina Lopez, Duwamish River Cleanup Coalition. Congratulations. Congratulations. Paulina Lopez is a community connector and trusted advocate in the Latinx and South Park communities. Paulina has provided her expertise to King County on environmental projects ranging from Spanish language versions of videos on safer cleaning products to engaging communities in researching health indicators and green stormwater infrastructure projects. She regularly participates in or supports audience research projects related to stormwater messaging. King County's ability to engage these communities would have been severely limited and superficial without the help and support of Paulina Lopez. So thank you. Congratulations. For the next award, imagine a world if millions of pounds of food and beverage containers were diverted from landfills and repurposed through a variety of methods, creating partnerships between local businesses. And imagine a world where we not only reduce methane output, but utilize it, and instead of wasting nutrients, we extract and return them to the soil for future generations. Leader in waste to resources, full container recovery. Congratulations. Full Container Recovery has been working to reduce waste for more than 20 years. Based at the Port of Tacoma, FCR recycles more than 21,000 gallons of food-grade beverages, food products, and their byproducts every day, including plastics, glass, and aluminum. They partner with local farmers to convert ethanol and methanol into animal feed, compost, and energy. FCR is proud of the work they do and of the relationships they've built, and they believe their business model is a roadmap that other businesses can use to eliminate food waste and create sustainable solutions. Food waste is a huge problem, so thank you guys so much. I have to say, speaking of food waste, I was told when Sally Jewell, I was told when you were going to be here, I needed to wear a clean shirt. But it reminded me of the time you yourself sorted trash cans when we were on a panel together. And that's true servant leadership, and that's really what's reflected here today. Leaders who get dirty and do the work and don't wait for somebody else to do it. So thanks again, you all, for everything you do. Imagine a world if women from all nations had a voice to participate and engage with Mother Earth in a way that aligns with and expresses her culture, beliefs, and life experiences. A world where communities develop in partnership with each other and there is equitable access to resources so that everyone has what they need and cultivates resources for the next generation in the tradition of their ancestors. Leader in climate justice, Mother Africa. Congratulations. Thank you. Congrats. This social and community advocacy services organization provides African refugees, immigrant women, and their families with resource referrals and direct support, offering the community space to connect with peers, opportunities to celebrate successes, and much more. One of King County's first partners in the Climate Change Communications Transcreation Project, Mother Africa helped develop an infographic in Arabic by using native language focus groups to assure its accuracy and cultural relevance. The infographic has been translated into Spanish, with Chinese translation coming next and additional languages to follow. So join me in congratulating Mother Africa. Congratulations. Imagine a world if the norm was a culture of open space conservation where creative regional partnerships save vital forests, farmlands, and rivers from development before it is too late and ensure easy access to green space for all King County residents. Leaders in open space conservation, City of Issaquah, and Trust for Public Land. Yay! Congrats, guys. The City of Issaquah and Trust for Public Land partnered to acquire 46 acres of lushly forested property in the heart of Mountains to Sound Greenway and adjacent King County's Cougar Mountain Regional Wildland Park that had been slated for a housing development. After neighbors, open space, and trails advocates instead suggested the land be preserved for its value as habitat and passive recreation activities, Issaquah and TPL were able to purchase the property from the developer. This agreement will benefit people and fish and wildlife for generations to come. Well done, City of Issaquah and TPL. Thank you. Okay. Imagine a world if every community has safe and welcoming places for their residents to play and connect with nature so that everyone, especially the most vulnerable populations, can share in the benefits of parks and open spaces close to home. Leader in access to the outdoors, the Wilderness Society. Congratulations. Yay. Believing that public land should be enjoyed by all and available to all, the Wilderness Society is committed to closing gaps and addressing inequities in the region's parks and open spaces, and to facilitate connections to nature through creative transit and policy solutions. They are a strong supporter of Trailhead Direct, King County's innovative public-private partnership offering transit to trail service to some of the most popular hiking destinations in King County. The Wilderness Society's advocacy for policies, programs, and investments help improve the health and well-being of local communities. And they have earned this honor. Thank you. All right. Imagine a world if neglected urban spaces could be transformed into oases where refugees and immigrant families gather to grow culturally appropriate foods, play, and learn together, and building and stewarding a sustainable community. Leader in community resiliency, World Relief Seattle. And after doing a story about their project, was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago? One of 5 stories in my entire career that have made me cry, and I almost just quit my job right there to work with you guys in your garden. Awesome. World Relief Seattle designed and built a unique refugee and immigrant community garden for growing culturally appropriate crops from an unused church parking lot in Kent. Hillside Paradise parking plots features 44 in-ground garden beds and 6 ADA accessible plots that are cared for by people representing 20 different countries. The project removed 29,000 square feet of asphalt, restored permeable ground for rainfall retention, and created a rainwater catchment system that not only provides garden irrigation, but infiltrates and cleans more than 1 million gallons of stormwater annually. Remarkable achievement. Congratulations to World Relief Seattle. Imagine every business managed the rain falling on their roofs. This is a story you're going to see. No, not yet. The next one is looking at you. Shoreline. Leader in green stormwater solution, Young's Restaurant. Congratulations.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. A Vietnamese-Chinese family-owned business in White Center, Young's Restaurant is the first restaurant to participate in the RainWise program, which offers rebates to property owners to install green stormwater infrastructure. Supported by ECOS and its language and multicultural environmental outreach expertise, Young's installed 3 stormwater cisterns that will keep more than 11,000 gallons of runoff out of the combined sewer system each year. The King County Seattle Public Utilities RainWise Partnership recently established a big roof initiative expanding its work beyond residential structures to capture and divert stormwater from larger buildings. So thank you, Young's Restaurant. Congratulations. And I'll have to come try out your food.
Yes,
Thank you. Okay. Now to the story you'll see next week on King 5. Imagine a world if all buildings functioned like trees. Leader in green building, Miranda Redinger, City of Shoreline. Quick plug, King 5 starts 3 weeks of orca coverage this week. 1 week of salmon, 1 week of pollution, 1 week of underwater boat noise, and Shoreline is going to be in our pollution week because tonight they are going to become the first city in Washington to receive salmon safe certification, only the 2nd in the whole country. And I live in Shoreline. High five. Yes. Proud to be a Shoreline resident. Redinger is a senior planner for the City of Shoreline and has been a leading green building advocate and participant in King County's countywide green building task force since its inception. Years ago, as a student at the University of Virginia, Wahoo Wah, One of her professors suggested that buildings could indeed function like trees, and that would be a better way to design structures as well as cities. Taking that concept to heart, Miranda has been actively involved in developing and adopting Shoreline's Green Building Code package for home construction projects. Oh, wait, I think I skipped that. Green Building Code package that has evolved into the state's first deep green incentive package for home construction projects. She continues to research and advocate for further opportunities for sustainable building in Shoreline and beyond, work that helps save resources while providing comfortable and highly functional living environments. Good job, Miranda. Thank you. Congratulations. Woo! There are a lot of hardworking people here. So it's Executive Constantine's turn to come back to the microphone, but is he taking a picture right now? I think he is. Any questions about mainstream media? Any, no? You're welcome.
Thank you again, Allison. When I graduated from the University of Washington in 1985 and 1989 and 1992, I really did not want to leave, but at some point they just said I had to. Clearly, things were way cooler than they are today, and I'm not just referring to, us. Our climate is changing. The science is clear. Greenhouse gases are rising, global and regional temperatures are rising, the sea level is rising, ocean acidification is increasing. Climate change is perhaps the paramount challenge of our generation, and not just ours, but for those who will come after us. Successfully meeting this challenge requires bold action grounded in strong science. Now, in that vein, we've hit the jackpot right here in our own backyard. The University of Washington is world-renowned for its research on climate change impacts, and responding to climate change. Whether it's understanding how climate change affects extreme weather events, or how rising temperatures affect our health and environment, UW research has helped to define why we need to move urgently on climate change. UW expertise and research contributions in polar, atmospheric, and oceanographic sciences have helped us to understand just how significant current and projected climate change is relative to the past, the role of human activities in driving climate change, and how those changes affect critical issues like weather patterns and sea level rise. UW researchers were instrumental in identifying ocean acidification in Washington's marine waters and how it has harmed our local shellfish industry. Research and partnerships with the UW Climate Impacts Group, the School of Environmental and Forest Sciences, School of Public Health, are helping us better understand how climate change affects King County communities. Your research and ability to translate complex scientific findings into how they impact our health, our environment, our economy, spur and inform the actions of government. Just as critically, UW is training the next generation of scientists and policymakers. King County already benefits from the skills and knowledge that University of Washington students and graduates bring to the county's climate change efforts. We need more of that expertise, so keep it coming. The Green Globe Awards asks us to imagine a world where climate change is no longer a threat to the health and safety and welfare of our communities. A world where bold action on clean, renewable energy and climate preparedness creates a sustainable and resilient future for all. We're doing more than imagining in King County. We are taking bold action to achieve that vision. But there's no time to waste. And UW will be here with us every step of the way. So here to accept the award on behalf of the University of Washington is Dr. Lisa Gromlich, the Dean of the College of the Environment. I want to thank you, Allison, for emceeing today, and I want to invite Lisa to come forward and accept the final Green Globe Award. Let's go. Give your remarks.
I'm grateful to Executive Constantine and the King County Council for this award, and also give warm congratulations to the rest of the awardees. And I am honored to accept this award on behalf of the entire UW. I often say science is the teamiest of team sports, and nowhere is that more manifest, I believe, on the UW campus than in this area of climate change. Like Dow, I was a Husky in the 1980s, and I went to UW because it was the only place in the country where you could study the physics of climate change from prominent atmospheric scientists, but you could also work with people trying to understand, just at the beginning when we were beginning to think that this might have an impact on our natural resource systems. There were people at UW thinking about that. That continues to this day. Sometimes the teams are small and highly focused, looking at how oysters are going to adapt to ocean acidification. Sometimes the teams are gigantic, to be honest. International consortia led by UW people looking at the impacts of climate change on all sorts of institutions and resources and people and communities. Small plug. And sometimes members of those teams actually help us scientists to create information that is actually, as we call it, not just usable but used. Take one of these home with you, please. But the job of climate change doesn't just belong to us as a scientific community. It belongs to all of us, and it's a responsibility shared by society at large, by the private sector, and importantly by government, and as we see today, by all of the work that is being done by climate change, by King County. So when we tackle these big important questions, we must continue to do so as a community and as a team, and you can count on the University of Washington to be part of that team as long as it takes. Thank you again for this honor.
Okay, so now it's picture time. We'll have our photo. All the awardees, please come up, and then we'll take a class photo. And again, to Allison and to King TV, thank you so much for your service this morning, but particularly for your service to our community and our state throughout the year. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here today.